Following a developing story, deadly gunfire at a local house party packed with more than 200 teenagers. Now, deputies are searching for the shooter. Good afternoon. I'm Sophia Choi. In the last hour, we learned the name of one teenager killed in a house party shooting. This afternoon, 4 other teens are in the hospital. Channel 2's Audrey Washington is live outside the home on Highway 279 in Fayetteville. Audrey, you spoke to a security guard in the last 10 minutes who was at that party.
Yeah, that's right, Sophia. I actually spoke with that young man just about 10 minutes ago. He told me that this deadly shooting all started with an accusation that someone put something in a girl's drink here at this house party that we now know was advertised on social media. He told me that the shooting then occurred right after that and that it was just pure chaos.
The father of the young girl, who was also the DJ, he came and said somebody put something in my daughter's drink. I immediately got on the microphone and I shut the party completely down. Proceeding, everybody got ready to leave. I was directing traffic, and maybe about 5 or 10 minutes after everybody was leaving, I proceeded to walk to the front of the house. I want to say around about 12:30ish, I heard 15 gunshots go off.
Sheriff deputies say 5 teens were shot. One, identified as 19-year-old Wally Clanton of Stockbridge, was killed. This is video of the scene at a home here on Highway 279 in Fayetteville. Partygoers tell us it was shortly before midnight when the homeowner arrived and broke up the party. It's still not clear what the argument was about. Deputies are now on the hunt for the suspects. Now, there's still no word on whether or not the homeowners here will be charged in any of this. As for the hunt for this shooter, deputies say that they are asking for anyone with information to please come forward. And we're live here in Fayetteville. Audrey Washington.
Tonight, a 4-year-old brings heroin to daycare and passes it out to other children. This happened at a daycare center in Selbyville, Delaware. That's in southern Sussex County. Tonight, the mother of the 4-year-old is facing charges. She's 30-year-old Ashley Toll of Selbyville. Police were called to Hickory Tree Child Care Center this morning after workers saw some kids with small bags of a white powder. There were 249 bags of heroin in that child. This happened at a daycare center in Selbyville, Delaware. That's in southern Sussex County. Tonight, the mother of the 4-year-old is facing charges. She's 30-year-old Ashley Toll of Selbyville. Police were called to Hickory Tree Child Care Center this morning after workers saw some kids with small bags of a white powder. There were 249 bags of heroin in that child's backpack. Several children were taken to the hospital as a precaution. Toll will be released after posting bail.
Underway in a Frederick, Maryland community this evening. A man was shot and killed in front of several children. Fox 5's Lene Burns has the details.
Certainly some shocking circumstances surrounding this story. Take a look behind me. You'll see a green ice cream truck. Police say that truck had just pulled into the neighborhood, and that's when kids ran out onto the street to get some ice cream on this hot day, and shots were fired, striking and killing a 22-year-old young man. Police say it all took place around 5 o'clock this afternoon. Witnesses told police they heard gunshots, ran out into the street, and saw a young man lying in the road. Police are not releasing many details about what happened so far, since it is very early on in their investigation.
EMS was on scene, did life-saving efforts. Unfortunately, he was pronounced dead on scene. We understand this is a very tragic event, not only for the family, but also for the community. The residents have been, supportive and understanding that this is an event that occurred midday. We're talking about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So,
police are also asking for help in this investigation. 301-600-TIPS is the number to call if you can help. In Frederick, Lene Burns, Fox 5
Well, now
Local
to a very
News.
disturbing and sad story out of La Plata, Maryland. A woman was found pushing her young son's dead body in a swing at Willis Memorial Park. Neighbors say she'd been there for hours. Well, now investigators are trying to figure out how the toddler died. Fox 5's Alexander Lamone reports.
Neighbors say they became very concerned when they noticed a young mother pushing her son for a very long time on a swing. The mother and son may have possibly been at this park all night. So neighbors called police, but they never expected what happened next.
When the police got there, they noticed that the baby was dead in the swing, was not moving, which is a tragedy, in my opinion.
I don't want to go over there no more, you know, because it's just, you know, I seen them on the ground.
It's pretty clear the child had been dead for several hours prior to the officers arriving.
Despite the fact that deputies could almost immediately tell the little boy's body was lifeless, they tried to revive him and performed CPR.
It was sort of a helpless situation. I think, you know, it was a really tough situation for the officers and for everybody involved.
A lot of people in the small town of La Plata are talking about what happened, especially because several of them saw the young woman and the boy late Thursday night, and they were still there early Friday morning.
He couldn't see his face because she had her stomach in front of him.
One of those people was Natasha Key's son, who's a middle school student.
He said that he was crying, so he was alive, and she looked up and looked at him, and he said he had looked at her, and she put her head down.
Investigators are still working to piece together what happened. The mother was taken to a local hospital for evaluation. The toddler to the medical examiner's office in Baltimore for an autopsy to figure out how he died because there were no obvious signs of trauma.
It's really heartbreaking.
The actual swing that the little boy was in has now been removed. Investigators are asking for anyone who may have seen the mother and son to call the Charles County Sheriff's Office. Reporting in La Plata, Alexandra Lamone.
We begin tonight in Minneapolis, where 2 teens have now been charged with killing a mother and her young son.
We want to warn you, details of this crime may be difficult for you to hear. 17-year-old Stephon Thompson and 16-year-old Brian Flowers are charged with first-degree murder for killing their friend's mother and brother. Darcy Paulin has the disturbing details of what police say happened this week.
This is so senseless. This is so brutal. I mean, veteran prosecutors and police investigators have said they've never seen such a brutal crime scene.
Police say Patricia Daniels was stabbed more than 100 times. Her 10-year-old son, Robert Shepard, died after being smashed in the head with a TV.
It's senseless. It's just senseless. I just don't understand why they would kill him like that.
According to the criminal complaint, a girlfriend dropped Stephon Thompson and Brian Flowers off here at their 15-year-old friend's mom's house around 10 o'clock last Wednesday night.
They went in, they talked, they watched TV, and sometime after midnight, she was attacked with a golf club and a knife and other things.
Investigators say the teenagers called Thompson's girlfriend on Patricia's cell phone, which they later found in a garbage can a few blocks away. Court papers say Flowers claims Thompson wanted to kill Robert so there would be no witnesses.
And Robert, why they have to do that to Robert? I mean, why? All I want to know is why? Why? That's all I want to know.
The county attorney said a motive for the brutality is unclear.
In the confessions and the discussion with the two of them about money, about car, about cell phone.
She didn't have nothing.
Now, in addition to that cell phone police say that they found, which helped them track down Thompson's girlfriend, they say they also found bloody clothing and a knife in nearby garbage cans near this residence. Now, according to the criminal complaint, the two boys are blaming each other for the murders, and that is why they will both be tried separately. Boy, Darcy, you weren't kidding when you said these were disturbing details of a crime. In cases like this where we've had such a heinous crime and older teenagers, we have seen them be prosecuted as adults. Any chance of that happening in this case? Yes, that's because state statute calls for anybody 16 years or older to be automatically certified as an adult if they are charged with first-degree murder, as both of these teens are in this case, Jeanette. All right, Darcy Paulin reporting live for us with our top story. Thank you, Darcy.
Robbed an ice cream truck driver at gunpoint and made him strip down to his underwear. We're told the 54-year-old driver was on Fox Creek yesterday. 2 suspects approached him reportedly. One threatened to shoot him if he moved. The other demanded money, and police say that he then told him to strip down. Police say the crime is more common than you might think.
We've had several incidents over the past several years where ice cream vendors have been targeted for street robberies. They don't happen all the time, but normally in the summer months.
Now, the suspects took the driver's clothes, his car keys, his cell phone.
When police are making their
cash.
message clear, they are going after every gang and gang member in the city. Already, one particular gang has fewer members due to police capturing, arresting, and convicting some of them. News Channel 15's Lamar Holliday has looked into this gang and found out how investigators are going after these groups.
This gang is known as the Mob Street Gang. These members have had a violent history here in the city. A couple of them are serving dozens of years in prison because of their actions, and investigators say that should be a warning to all gangs here in Fort Wayne. The Mob Street Gang. These gang members aren't strangers to police and investigators. Just recently, Tremil Jackson was arrested in connection to the Decatur Road shooting last week. He's now facing attempted murder charges.
We know who these people are, and if we don't know who they are, we will know who they are because people are going to talk.
These two mob gang members were arrested and charged after some people came forward. Dante Martin and Trinilius Jackson did the unthinkable, shot an ambulance with a stabbing victim inside after leaving Pierre's nightclub in September 2012. Martin was sentenced to 170 years in prison, while Jackson was sentenced to 60 years.
If you walk into the court with a long history of gang activity, the possibility that you're going to be rehabilitated is probably less.
Mob isn't the only gang the city is dealing with. Fort Wayne Police spokesperson Mike Joyner says some members move around and form new gangs.
Membership of these groups I have found interesting to change, I think, by individuals moving from one neighborhood to another, then they assimilate into another group.
And Joyner wants these gangs to know police are watching you.
And we're going to be your second shadow, and you're going to trip up, and you're going to pay dearly for this. And you better hope that we're able to get to you before your rivals get to you. At one point or another, you will pay the price.
You can call in gang activity by calling the new anonymous phone line. That number, 427-1262. Live in Studio 15 tonight, Lamar Holliday.
A murder investigation busted up a major drug ring here in Indianapolis.
And federal investigators have now charged 14 people with drug trafficking, illegal firearms, and drug distribution. 24-Hour News 8's Julian Grace learned most of the suspects are part of a North Side gang called the Buddha Boys. Julian.
That's right, Eric, and we're learning that investigators are still actively searching for 5 Buddha Boys as I speak. Here's a look at who's wanted. Daniel Latterson, Emmanuel Murphy, Stacy Rhodes. They're also searching for Donovan Barnes and Dwayne Battle. Police say this investigation started after the May murder of 25-year-old Sierra Bradbury. The recently married mother died after she was shot in the chest while sitting in her home with her newborn baby. Investigators say while they were investigating her death, they learned a group called the Buddha Boys was terrorizing that neighborhood for years. U.S. Attorney Joe Hogsett says if convicted, those who are charged will be sent to federal prisons in Utah, California, and Texas. Although police are still searching for Bradbury's killer, investigators say this should send a message to gangs in the city.
This is Project Exile on steroids. We're going to exile you out of our community. We're going to send you to places you won't be able to get commissary. You're going to do 85% of your time. There are going to be repercussions and consequences if you continue to wreak violence and havoc in our communities.
Once again, Crime Stoppers and police, they are actively taking any tips on where the remaining suspects might be. If you have any information, you are urged to call Crime Stoppers. Once again, your tip will remain anonymous. Eric?
So the Buddha Boys have been around for a while. It sounds like pretty active and dangerous.
Yeah, Eric, they've been around for a very long time. As you know, I was born and raised here in the city of Indianapolis, and I can remember as early as the 90s, people would complain about the Buddha Boys. Even the Chief Height said that they've been entrenched in our community for a very long time, and it's time for them to go. More information on that coming up for you at 6 o'clock, though.
The whole community to help solve this.
Pastors fear a Sunday murder has turned into gang retaliation. All new tonight at 6. Pastors with the 10-Point Coalition say 2 gangs are feuding over a rap song.
That rap, they believe, may have caused the murder of 2 men and the shooting of a third. 24-Hour News 8's Julian Grace is live in the newsroom with that story for us. Julian.
Well, Debbie, police say they are investigating if the 2 murders are connected. Beyond that, IMPD would not say much more about the 2 crimes. However, the 10-Point Coalition, they believe they are connected, and they are taking steps tonight to prevent more violence. He went by the name Bango, an East Side rapper, apparently on his way to a major record deal. But his parents called him Brandon McMitchell. They described him as a 19-year-old who loved life, loved to write, but on Sunday night, he lost his life. McMitchell died after someone sprayed his car with bullets near 30th and Andrew J. Brown. Police believe he was part of a gang called the Lucchini Boys. 4 days later, another murder, this one near 46 and Keystone. Inside the studio, detectives found one man dead and another man shot blocks away in the CVS parking lot. The 10-Point Coalition believes the two were targeted because they knew members of a rival gang called Bad News, which had problems with the Lucchini Boys.
A lot of them were very upset with the killing on Sunday of the young man who was killed, and we were very concerned that it was going to lead to more violence.
Pastors with the 10-Point Coalition and some IMPD leaders met behind closed doors at Barnes United Methodist Church Friday morning. The discussion was how to stop more retaliation, but even they admit it might be a little too late.
All we're trying to do is contain it and not let it get out of hand.
We talked to McMitchell's mom. She did not want to go on camera, but she added she wants everyone to put their guns down and let the police do their job.
Now, Julian, some of the pastors are calling the second victim a man at the wrong place at the wrong time. Is it really that simple?
Yes, it's really that simple. According to the 10-Point Coalition, they say that second victim was just at the wrong place at the wrong time and just guilty by association. We're also told some of his family members will be out at 46 and Keystone later tonight. Now, police have not released the second victim's name just yet.
I hope it doesn't get worse. Police say Thank 5 you, men are responsible for the gruesome murder of a local DJ.
Last month, police say that a group of masked men tied up and killed Thomas Keys in a studio in the 2000 block of East 46. Now, 42-year-old Carlton Hart and 20-year-old Dante Robinson have been arrested and charged with that murder, and now police are looking for 3 others. 24-hour News 8's Julian Grace is live in our newsroom with more on the story. Julian.
Well, Debbie, police want you to take a very long look at the picture on your screen. Investigators are actively searching for these suspects as I speak. They are Dominique Hamler, James McDuffie, and Nathaniel Armstrong. Arrest warrants have been issued for all 3 for murder and kidnapping. Now, the night Keys was murdered, his cousin was with him inside the studio. That cousin was tied up and shot multiple times as well, but he pretended he was dead. That might have saved his life. When the suspects left, the cousins ran for help, or that cousin ran for help and told police who set them up.
They don't release the beast.
This is video from 2010 of Carlton Hart, also known as Sir Hart, fresh out of the Marion County Jail. At the time, the then 40-year-old served 2 years behind bars for a murder he says he didn't commit.
I work for the dead. I'm the eyes and the ears of the deceased.
Hart's case was even featured on the Discovery Channel show The Shift, but prosecutors later dropped the charges because of a lack of evidence. But now a new murder investigation has shifted in Hart's direction. He's accused of being the setup man in a murder at his studio on the 2000 block of 46th Street. Court documents say Hart lured Thomas Keys and his cousin over to the studio. Once there, the two were tied up with zip ties and duct tape. Both were shot. Keys died, but his cousin played dead and was able to escape. On the same day of the murder, police say Hart was caught on camera buying zip ties and duct tape at this Lowe's in Glendale. Police say Hart was seeking revenge for his murdered cousin, Brandon McMitchell, also known as Bango, a local rapper seen in this video who was gunned down last month. In the process of this murderous plot, detectives believe Hart recruited 4 other men to carry out his plan. Police are urging anyone with information in this case to call Crime Stoppers. They are waiting on your call. Now, we did reach out to Carlton Hart earlier this afternoon. As we stated earlier, he's being held at the Marion County Jail. However, he declined our request for an interview. Reporting live in the newsroom, Julian Grace, 24
Police arrested 20-year-old Dominique Hamler for the death of 22-year-old Thomas Keys.
Keys was tied up and gunned down in a studio on East 46th Street last month. 24-hour News 8's Julian Grace is live from the Marion County Jail with the interview. Julian?
Well, Dave Hamlin did not say much in our interview. However, he did maintain his innocence. And he says he believes prosecutors are picking on him solely because his best friend died in a separate murder investigation. And he believes those prosecutors thought that he wanted revenge. Dominique Hamler walked in a prison jumpsuit and pleaded his case in a one-on-one interview. Hamler, also known as Scooter, was one half of a rap duo with his friend named Brandon McMitchell, also known as Bango. The two made music videos together. They gained publicity on YouTube and had dreams of signing a major record deal. But the music came to a screeching halt last month. McMitchell was shot and killed near this intersection along Andrew J. Brown. Prosecutors say what happened next was a murderous plot bent on seeking revenge. Detectives say Hamler and 3 other men duct-taped and zip-tied Thomas Keys and his cousin in a local studio. Both men were shot. Keys died. His cousin played dead and lived to tell this story. In court documents, the victim says it was Hamler who pointed an assault rifle at the two and said, quote, "Which one of you killed Bango?" Time passed, and moments later, that victim says the shooting happened.
I feel sorry for y'all lost, man. I'm innocent, though.
Prosecutors also say that Hamler is part of a gang called the Luciani Boys. We asked Hamler about that. He says the Luciani Boys are not a gang. They're just a rap group. David.
Yeah, I'm wondering, Julian, if Hamler says he didn't do it, why didn't he turn himself in?
I did ask Hamler that question shortly after our interview wrapped up, and he says the reason why he didn't turn himself in is because he was waiting to get an attorney. He says he did not want to turn himself over to the police without an attorney, and that's why he did not turn himself in. Hopefully we'll have much more on the investigation as it continues to wrap up.
All right, Julian Grace live downtown. Thanks, Julian.
We are learning more about this 26-year-old man shot in the driveway with his girlfriend in his car sitting next to him. Corey Anderson was shot several times. Now, around 4 yesterday morning on the far east side of Indianapolis is when it happened. His girlfriend wasn't hurt, but the shooter got away. And today, new information could lead police to a killer.
26-year-old Corey Andrews died after a gunman shot him multiple times in his car. We've been doing some digging today, and 24-hour News 8 anchor Deanna Dewberry has an enlightening document.
Absolutely. It's a report from the Lawrence Police Department. The cousin of yesterday's shooting victim says someone is threatening to kill her. And she says the man who's making the threat seems to know a great deal about her cousin's murder. One cousin inconsolable after Tuesday's early morning shooting. Another cousin getting death threats, and those threats could lead police to a killer. 26-year-old Corey Andrews was shot dead about 4 a.m. Tuesday while sitting in his souped-up Oldsmobile with his girlfriend. Police had plenty of questions.
We're looking at what the motive is, whether this individual may have known his assailant, and waiting for information from the woman that was inside the car, as well as any potential witnesses that might have seen what had taken place just prior to the shooting.
And according to a Lawrence police report, a witness claims he saw everything. The man allegedly sent the victim's cousin a text message saying, "They will never find the two who shot your cousin. They will never find the gun. Everyone is in Chi-Town." The cousin claims the man also left a threatening voicemail saying, "Expletive, you will be dead, just like your cousin." We went to the home of the woman who got those messages. No one's answering the door. No doubt police are knocking on doors as well, trying to find this man who claims he saw a murder. And I made a call to the man's job today. He wasn't there, but we'll keep looking. I also contacted police repeatedly today about this man who claims he saw everything. Has he been found? Is he being questioned? Is he a suspect? Police will only say this is an active, ongoing investigation. Deanna Dewberry, 24 Hour News.
Another fatal situation. An aspiring rapper was killed while making a music video, and the murder weapon is believed to be a gun that was used as a prop. Now, this all happened just after 10 last night near 62nd Place and Eastern Avenue in Seat Pleasant. It's a story Maryland Bureau Chief Brad Bell broke first on 7. He's now live near the scene with what he's learned. Brad, what's the latest?
Well, Leon, it happened 10 o'clock last night, as you said, all quiet here now, but this was the scene and the set for that music video down there in that alley. It was lights and cameras, most likely cell phone cameras, and then a gunshot. And the star of the video is found dead in the parking lot right over here. Police are trying to find out what on earth happened to this aspiring star.
In dozens of music videos posted to YouTube, 21-year-old Keyway IV performing as Kilo, raps about guns and violence, his way, according to his friends, to encourage peace.
People might look at some of the videos of things that might be on his channel
and say, oh, well, I don't know, but this is urban life, and in order to make a way out, sometimes you have to tell the story.
So he was like our personal Spike Lee.
Last night, Kilo Ivy is filming in this alley between an apartment and a shopping center in Seat Pleasant. He's starring in and directing another of his videos.
Videos on his mind. All he wanted to do was edit videos, come home, play basketball, eat, and do another video.
At least 20 people are involved. According to sources, a gun, likely being used as a prop, goes off. Ivy is hit and killed. The cast and crew scatter. Police find Ivy alone in the parking lot. Many now being questioned by detectives who want to know if Kilo Ivy's death was an accident or a murder. The latter, a possibility Ivy's brother can't imagine.
He never bothered nobody, for real. My brother was a person who stayed to himself. He doing what he loved, man. That was his dream. That's what he loved, man.
Well, just about 3 hours ago, police did do a search warrant in this apartment building. We don't know which unit, and we don't know exactly what they were looking for. But sources have told us that police have every reason to believe that whatever happened here was captured on camera. After all, at the moment the death happened, they were shooting a video. In Seat Pleasant, Brad Bell, ABC 7
A rising
News.
star in the rap world dies just hours after performing a show, murdered in an ambush in Queens. CBS 2's Steve Langford reports on the drive-by shooting that left a rapper killed.
The 2015 Porsche the young rapper was driving about 4 Sunday morning in Briarwood, Queens, still running hours after the 31-year-old star was shot 6 times. The rapper, whose real name is Lionel Pickens, was pronounced dead at Jamaica Hospital.
31 years old, man, gone.
Pickens grew up in Far Rockaway, Queens, his roots featured in his music videos as he gained fame as part of French Montana's Coke Boys group. Pickens played a show in Brooklyn Saturday night before being ambushed in his car, along with a passenger who was shot once and is expected to survive.
There's a black Mercedes that came right next to that car, and then they let off shots.
Raymond Rivera says he saw the shooting from just up the block and watched as Pickens fell to the pavement.
Police came, they put a blanket over him, ambulance came, they took him in the ambulance.
Only a few hours after the early morning shooting, a major show of force by the NYPD here in Far Rockaway, Queens. Police took at least 2 men into custody here and are now questioning them in connection with the murder of the rapper. At the crime scene, a sobbing woman declined to speak, while friends and fans watched the scene in stunned silence.
These were young kids that I watched grow up, man. It's like, it's sad, man.
A rap music success cut down in his prime. In Briarwood, Queens, Steve Langford, CBS 2 News.
Now, French Montana reacted tonight to the death of Lionel Pickens on Twitter, saying, "Who would have thought I'll ever get that call?" And rapper P. Diddy also tweeted, saying, "This is so crazy. Life is so short. Why are we killing each other for nothing? Just got such a good guy, really good guy. He will truly be missed."